Hello everybody, this is Boxing Bros UK. I am his Chris. This is Andrew, my co-host, the Boxing Brain below me. We're using a new streaming platform today. So basically, bear with us if it looks a bit weird or it looks a bit different. But yeah, we had to come off StreamYard because the quality on the sound, as you noticed, wasn't there for us. So anyway, today there's not much boxing going on. So today we're doing a RIFFIN news. Yeah. This is where me and Andrew, we riff off each other about gossip, rumours, breaking news in the boxing world.
Yeah.
So take it away, Andrew. Topic number one.
So, shall we shoot for? Let's go with some. Let's go with a Hamza sheeraz. So Hamza sheeraz has been pulled out by Queensbury Promotions and Frank Warren. Been pulled out of the WBO purse bid, and is likely to be looking at the WBC silver belt. What is it, European and Commonwealth as well? Looking like he's going to cherry pick a little bit of a cherry pick. I know he's wanted the Adamas fight for a long time, so he sees something in Carlos Adamas, him and his team, where I think they fancy that belt. So, don't know what you think, Chris. I think you think the same as me. I think they're carefully cultivating his career a bit and think, actually, let's go that way, and then maybe the winner of Bentley Brad Paul's give them a shot, who are high up with the WBO against janibek. What do you make of all that anyway, Chris?
For me, this doesn't sit well with me, really, because you're mandatory for the WBO belt, yeah? And because janibek's got the IBF, that's two straps right there, yeah? And if he beat janibek, they can give Bentley a voluntary, or Bentley becomes mandatory for the WBO because he's next in line. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I know it seems like it's I'm not scared of janibek, but it's not a guaranteed win. It's definitely, for me, a cherry pick. It's good, promotional. Like, he's more guaranteed to win the He's mandatory for both. He can fight for the WBC, or he can fight for the WBO IBF. But what I want to take people back to, let's remember a young Tyson Fury, yeah? He had the chance to fight Deontay Wilder for the WBC strap. He said, I don't want to fight Wilder. He's a joke. I want the best. The guy with the most belts, I want to fight Klitschko because everyone thinks he's the best. I want to fight him to prove I'm the best. And he's got the most belts. Obviously, he didn't maintain that mentality throughout his career. But when he was young and hungry and coming up, that was the young and hungry fighter mentality. He wanted to fight a man with the most belts. He didn't want to take the easy route and fight Wilder. He wanted to fight Klitschko. And he fought Klitschko and he beat him. And this is like, I don't know. Well, maybe it's boxing today. Let's look after the money. Let's strategically do this and do that. But I don't like it. I'm a traditional fighting man. He's got the most belts. Let's fight him.
Yeah, and he's been built up, and I believe the hype. You know, he's one of the big boxing talents in the world of boxing. I know to a degree you want to kind of protect him and sort of, progress his career, but he's very big for the weight. He's got all the tools. He's got a big opportunity and I wouldn't say a massive advantage, but I think he's got the ability to win that. But you've got there's a new boss at the WBO as well, Gustavo Oliveri. So I don't know if that's there's a bit going on there. I don't know. I'm just adding that in there because that's a new development. So
yeah, I don't know. It just seems weird to me. Why wouldn't you want to win two belts instead of one? And you've pulled yourself out of a purse bid. Like, it doesn't look well for you. But obviously, all said and done, no one cares what I think. No one cares what anyone thinks. It's what he wants to do. And if he wins the WBC title and then he fights janibek, I think maybe he's going to win the WBC belt and then move up to super middle.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
he's
do
not
got
hanging around and just wants to win his first title easy and then move up. I don't know.
I was thinking about this because I thought, the middleweight division's a bit of a funny one, isn't it? It's all over the place, the old middleweight division. And maybe does he not want to unify or be undisputed at middle? Does he want to maybe just win a belt at middle and quickly get up to that prestigious super middleweight division? Well,
Yeah.
I say prestigious, I don't know, it's the super, but outside of Canelo, there's not really much going on there, the old super middleweight division.
Canelo will not fight Hamza sheeraz ever.
No, but outside of him in that division, you've just had David. We'll get onto David Morrell and Benevedes in a minute. What's going on in the super middleweight division? There's not really much happening. So maybe he fancies being undisputed at super mid once in a couple of years if Canelo's retired. I don't know. Not entirely sure.
Because of the money Canelo generates, he's always going to be able to hang on to some of the belts. So they're not going to strip him of all the belts, and he's just holding the belts hostage. He don't want to fight Benevedes, don't want to fight his mandatories unless they're shit. He's bringing people up from lower weight classes. Well, I'm not interested in that guy. Like, just retire or fight the mandatories, like proper. Who knows? But I just think maybe he wants to win a belt at middleweight, then win a belt at super middleweight, like one of the ones that Canelo got stripped of. I think he got stripped of IBF or something. Then he wants to move up to light heavy.
Yeah, that looks like the trajectory. Obviously, we're speculating, but ultimately, clearly, him and his team fancy the Adames and the WBC strap. After that, it's pure speculation as to what he does after that. We shall see, Chris. So, did you want to move on to the next topic? Should we talk about? Should we go Benevedes Morrell? This is
Benevedes Morrell.
I think it's early February they're looking to fight. First thing I want to say, and this is another one of those in boxing, the last two guys their fault. Try and pronounce their names. Kaladzevic, David Morrell, went 12 rounds. Benevedes went a decent fighter. I think you pronounce it Gavodik. Bloody hell, two went 12 rounds with him as well. Been a little bit of speculation again at whether, I mean, they called Benevedes a little bit of the weight bully, didn't they? The kind of way he would rehydrate at super middle and use his size advantage. And have they both, David Morrell and Benevedes, are they able to carry that power up to light heavy? Are we reading too much into their first fights at light heavy, Chris? But the jury's out a little bit, isn't it?
I think we won't know until they're in with proper light heavyweight. So fight each other, but until they start fighting,
yeah, exactly,
yards,
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 Callum Smith, people like that.
Who fought Bivol, the Saudi fighter? I can't remember his name. He gave a really good account of himself against Bivol. It was the last
Sinbat. What was his name?
Even him, he's a good little fighter. You can't judge him when he's fought the best in the world and he come up short. You can't judge him on that fight. Let's judge him on fights afterwards. He's a good fighter.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
he needs to fight proper light heavies, and we'll see what he can do at that weight class. Yeah,
because they're both pumped up super middleweights. So, it's interesting, isn't it? Because they're both interim champs, aren't they? One's got the interim with the WBC, and the other one's the WBA regular. So, I don't know. I don't really know how to call this one because a lot of people are going to go with Benevedes because of the name, but David Morrell was a very good super middleweight as well. I think he won a title at super middleweight. Good boxer, good fight. I don't know. It's quite a close one, that, Chris. Who just sort of fancy just on instinct for that one?
I'll be honest with you. Obviously, the fight's in February, so I'm going to put some splinters in my arse right now. I'm sitting on the fence until we get closer to the fight. When we do our preview prediction, I'll know then. So, but right now, I can't really say because we don't know enough about Chingy, light heavyweight. I'll have to really look at the styles and watch a few of the fights just to get a feel, you know.
I found out, I didn't actually know this, just to sort of add this little bit, just if our viewers don't know, but Benevedes actually got stripped a couple of times, didn't he, because of his making.
Oh, loving the old recreational shit. That's what he got stripped for.
One he didn't make weight as well, did he? He didn't make weight for one as well, and then some other stuff. So he's a bit of a character, old Benevedes, isn't he? Bit of a cheeky lad outside the ring.
But he's a young lad. He's a young lad. He's only 27. He's a talent. He is a talent. He is a talent. But I don't like writing people off until I know more about him. So I don't want to say Benevedes will win just because I don't know anything about Morrell, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The underlying thing with this fight, Chris, and I think we touched on it, it is an interesting matchup. I can see why it's been made. The jury's out, isn't it? The jury's out with them because I'm not sure at light heavyweight with these two. Benevedes, you'd think he was massive for super middleweight, but we need to see more in the light heavyweight. So I'm reserving judgment and being a bit politician-like as well because I just don't know. I need to see a bit more.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just saying back of the notes, but I think that's going to be a good one. Moving on to next.
Yeah,
so we talk about
Zhang bakole.
Right, I've got some insights on this fight. In fact, I can't find my notes. So apparently, it's not on the website yet of the IBF, but it's officially been ordered out of the mouth of Billy Nelson, saying because Agit Kabayel pulled out of the purse bid, Zhang bakole has been ordered now to become the final eliminator for the IBF title. And I have a theory. Yeah. There's only one reason, knowing the type of fighter Agit Kabayel is and his talent. Why the fuck would you pull out of a purse bid? And I've been trying to wrap my brains on it. And do you know why I think it is? He's fighting Dubois in February. And Frank Warren, because Frank Warren don't like Ben Shalom, he's playing silly beggars. So he said, look, he said to Agit Kabayel, I'm going to give you the Dubois fight, but we ain't going to say nothing, and we're going to leave it to the last minute on the day of the purse bid. We're going to pull out. And then, obviously, Zhang's a Queensbury fighter. So let's say if he pulls out of the purse bid on the last minute again for bakole, then if he does that to bakole again, he's not going to be ready to fight till after Dubois fought Agit Kabayel. And it leaves bakole without a fight in the wilderness because he's waiting for purse bids. Do you see what I mean? I think Frank Warren's saying, I'll show you how this boxing games work. I'm going to fuck your fighter up, and by the time he gets his title shot, he's going to be too old. And then Dubois is going to do him.
I think that they again we're speculating, but
it's only speculation.
What part of a news channel is as well, part of boxing is to sort of give some opinions and theories because nothing surprises me in boxing, Chris. Also, I know again this is more my feeling on it, but I think they probably think Bakole's a little bit. I think bakole is more of a threat to Dubois' IBF title than what Kabayel is. Now, you can ask me to break that down. I just think stylistically, bakole causes Dubois a lot of problems for me, personally.
Sure.
Whereas Kabayel, I don't think poses as... You might disagree with that, I don't know. So I don't know if that's maybe in their thinking as well. We'll do a deal with Kabayel. Here's the shot. Keep that under the radar. Bakole could potentially lose to Zhang because Zhang's that type of heavyweight, I think, on his day, one punch. So then Bakole's out the mix in the wilderness a bit. This could be politics rearing its head again, couldn't it?
It certainly is, because if you think about it, let's say Kabayel gets the Dubois fight in February, but he don't say anything, and it'll get, and then, so now we're waiting. So Bakole's now got to have a purse bid with Zhang now, because Kabayel pulled out on the last day. So, and let's say, because Zhang's a Queensbury fighter, and Frank Warren says, here's a bit of dough, I'll get you fighting on the undercard, we'll put you in, we'll give you the Parker rematch, or we'll fight, we'll give you something, and yourself just the same amount of money, and pull out on the purse bid in the last minute. Then bakole won't have had a fight because he's waiting for 2 purse bids, and then he's getting fucked around, and he'll either maybe want to leave Ben Shalom and go to Frank Warren because all the heavyweights are there, so he can get his shot, or he'll be stuck out in the wilderness, and Ben Shalom's going to have to get him to stay busy fight against a nobody, quick time, just so he can stay relevant. Or he's going to have to beg Turkey Al Sheikh to tell Frank Warren to stop being mean. Because it just seems a bit funny. Why would anyone pull out of a purse bid last minute unless they've got something better? So
yeah,
I just want to see what happens.
It doesn't make too much sense because kabayel, you know, and I just made a few notes here. They're both 3rd and 4th with the WBC. bakole #1 with the WBA, 4th and 5th with the IBF, 2nd and 3rd with the WBO. Kabayel's surely got aspirations of trying to, you know, target that IBF against the sort of still the somewhat raw Dubois, because I do still think he's still learning. And you just think, like, especially with his last 2 wins against Makhmudov, who at the time, I know he's maybe a bit of a joke now, but at the time was billed as this very scary heavyweight, dealt with him in comprehensive fashion, done a brilliant job on Frank Sanchez, who was considered again at the time as a very live dog in the heavyweight division, Chris. You know, and I rate Kabayel, as you know. I've been singing his praises for a while, and I know you're a fan. He seems a fighting man to me. You know, he's fought Chisora, you know, former European champion. He's a fighting man. I don't know why. I couldn't imagine a scenario where he wouldn't fancy that fight against bakole. I don't get it. So more to it, perhaps, yes.
Perhaps this is all speculation. We're not saying this is how it is, but if it starts unfolding like this, you heard it here first. Boxing Bros UK.
Oh, and also, and I don't know whether journalistically and integrity-wise I would use that information anyway, but I am hoping to land an interview with Champ Performance for me and Chris, Daniel Dubois' S&C coach. Just need to finalise a date with him. He's a very busy man, so I'm waiting back on a. But I'm going to ask him the question. He'll probably say I don't know, but we'll maybe, if before February or before that gets announced or released, if we can get some information on it and we're allowed to use it, we'll endeavour to try. That's all we can say. You never know.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah. What's the last bit? Big John Fury up to his old tricks, Chris. Is that what we want to?
Yeah. I hope you don't mind, but there was one more fight. I forgot to tell you. I think it was on my notes. Just a quick one. Apparently, Derek Chisora, Jarrell Miller.
Yes, confirmed.
In Manchester.
Confirmed. Yeah, well, allegedly confirmed, according to a few
sources. Like, what do you make to that fight? I think it's a good fight because they're both quite slow. Output's not there. Bellboy's got the experience to weather the storms. Jarrell Miller's always game and doesn't give up.
There was a few options out there after Chisora said he wants sort of 2 more fights and whatever. There was a few. I think Wilder was going around. There was other sort of fighters out there that were being touted, and Jarrell Miller came up. And as soon as that name come up, it made sense for me. If Chisora is going to carry on, and he is, that makes sense to me. And I'll tell you why. At this stage in Chisora's career, obviously, I don't really like seeing him taking any more punishment he needs to. Jarrell Miller can't punch, mate, especially especially when he's off Big Pharma. Big Pharma Jarrell Miller off the juice can't punch, mate. So there'll be plenty of volume, but you know, I don't think it is his punch power is going to affect Chisora in any way. And I think Chisora could. I don't know if he stops Jarrell Miller, but I can see him getting a points win against Jarrell Miller, actually. It depends how active he's going to be in it, because one thing with Jarrell Miller, his punch output and his activity is pretty good. is still pretty good. So I actually like that fight, Chris. I think in terms of matchmaking, it makes a lot of sense.
Good fight in Manchester. And, I just think I like it because, like you say, he can't fucking punch. His output isn't like it was. It isn't like it was when he was juicing. So Derek Chisora can use his experience. He can time him coming in, catch him. Derek Chisora definitely hits harder than him. He can catch him coming in, time him, hit him, hurt him. I think I go for. I reckon Derek Chisora can stop him. I do. I really do. I think he can. Obviously, the guy's never been knocked down before, but I don't believe you can lead with your face every single fight or every fight. It's going to take its toll eventually. It is. And I think Cowboy's the one who can do it.
He could get, you know, when Dubois stopped him on his feet in the final sort of 10 seconds, I could imagine, because the thing is with Jarrell Miller, right? He's such a massive heavyweight. He's like a big oak tree, isn't he? Like 6'4". He's like my height, but he's like 15 stone heavier. It's like, it's unbelievable, lad. But he's so like, and his legs are massive, and I think he's just one of these like butterbean, isn't he? Like he's like, I can imagine a scenario where like the towel gets thrown in, or he don't get up off his stool, or he's sort of dazed on his feet, and the referee. I could see it. I could see something like that happening, but I don't see Jarrell Miller stopping Chisora.
No.
I don't know why, because Chisora can be stopped, but obviously at this stage of his career. But I don't know why, Chris. We both don't see it, do we?
No, I think it's just Chisora's too wily. He just and like you say, he doesn't hit hard enough. And I just think that Chisora is just going to be able to ride anything he can give, and he can time him. Them overhand rights, and Joel Miller, he hasn't got any good head movements. He's got no skills. He's shit, basically. He just comes forward with his face and he outworks people. And that can't last. That style is never going to last. And it's going to catch up with him eventually. And Del Boy doesn't get a chance to hit people clean. But when he does, he hits fucking hard. If you look about when he's caught people flush, clean, they go down. Look at Takam, look at Joyce, look at that Spilker. Like, he can hit, he can bang, and he has got one who gets quit of power. When he gets the opportunity to time it right and catch people, he can put you down with one shot. And even people like Spar, Dave Allen, said, hardest person in sparring that hit him was Chisora.
Yeah. Usyk said the same.
Aha. We're back. All good?
So the last bit, which I don't know why I'm just so over this John Fury thing, because it's the same antic all the time. Look, I'll say this with John Fury, and people are probably chime in on this bit because it is what it is with how these boxing circles work. He does know how to sell a fight, and because of the way he is, it does then put. Who cares about Tommy Fury versus Darren Till? Like, God, dear, oh dear, it's such a sort of tepid affair, isn't it? But big John Fury with his chucking water on that, you know, doing all his antics has sort of raised the profile of the fight more than what it deserves. But John doing what John does, I guess, Chris. You know,
I didn't even know about this. I didn't know about this fight. I just seen some videos saying John Fury's come out of hiding. And I thought, oh, what's this prick got to say to himself? And then
this is what I mean.
And then the thing is, I don't know who Tommy Fury's fighting, some MMA fighter against fuck knows. Anyway, but the one thing this Tillman said, which I really liked, he went, what the fuck are you piping up for? Since Tyson got bladdered off Usyk, where have you been? You've been fucking hiding. You got a shit house or some shit like that. I'm paraphrasing. And then that's when John Fury said, you couldn't suck Tyson's dick. Yeah, that's really weird. Like, why would anyone want to, like, you're not even good enough to suck his dick. It's a weird analogy. I don't know how that's an insult. He just comes out with shit.
That reminds me of the face-off with, I think it was Dylan White, Chisora too, and Chisora said, I'm going to go through you like a laxative. And Dillian White went, that's a bit of a weird analogy. What are you talking about?
Hold on, I'm gonna have to pause it.
God.
Can we pause it? Just 1 second, guys. Just 1 sec. Because they won't stop ringing. We'll have to pause this. Right, how do we pause it? No, really sorry about that, guys. Sound quality. Well, I think we may as well wrap it up now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because there's not much more to be said about
You'll
that.
have to do a bit of editing there, Chris. That's your job anyway. You'll have to edit those bits.
I'll get rid of that, yeah. But yeah, there's not much more to say about John Fury on that. Just acting like a knobhead like usual, selling the fight. But John Fury is where he belongs. Misfit boxing. Misfit boxing.
Yeah,
that's where he belongs.
Perfect in that film. Because he could sell sand to the Arabs. That guy, he can sell a fight. That's make no mistake.
Yeah, for sure. Right, that's it from us. Riffin News, volume, we don't know. Boxing Bro UK, we out.
Cheers.
Like and sub, like and sub.